Hi everyone. It is Wednesday, and so today I do my Wednesday wisdom where I talk about the theme for the month in my Success in STEM journal. And I have a real funny story for you. Like this morning, I woke up and I felt so drained, and my body just felt like it was like really, really stiff and tired. And I couldn't exactly figure out why, although I have an idea. My husband and we stayed up, not on purpose, but we ended up binge watching a show on Netflix on Monday. And instead of one episode, we were watching three. And so that was a very, very, very late night. And then the next night, my daughter woke up two times in the middle of the night. So I knew that I had lost a lot of sleep. And so last night I was like, I'm going to bed early. I'm going to make sure that I get lots and lots of rest. So when I woke up this morning and I felt like I've been hit by a bus, I was really, really surprised. And I felt like I really need to go and soak in the tub. And I said, but I got so much to do. I have so much to do because last week was a holiday week and there was so much stuff with family and friends. And so, I wanted to get back in it and make sure that I was getting stuff done. And the first thing I was like, yeah, I need to make the video for Wednesday Wisdom. And then I was like, oh, the theme for July is self-care. I mean, just so funny to me. Like, it's just hilarious that here I am saying I'm going to do a video on self-care, and I was about to put my own self-care on the back burner. And that's just how it does sometimes. Sometimes it's really, really difficult to even catch yourself on how you are being diligent around your self-care. And so I want to, make sure that we start off right, and we're going to talk about exactly the definition that I have for self-care, which is in the book. Self-care, the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness. So there's two things that I want to focus on. One is the practice, and two, active role in protecting. So those are the two things that I think that gets a little bit sticky when we think about self-care. And especially how it's put in the movies and TVs and commercials and, whatever on social media. It's really, really great to plan out your self-care and say, you know what, I'm going to go for a spa day, or I'm going to go and soak in a tub like I'm saying that I need to be doing, or I'm going for a walk and things like that. Like, you want to make sure that you do have things that you schedule in to keep yourself in the best mental and physical state that you can. That's really, really important. But where things get a little bit awry is recognizing that sometimes it's not going to be a scheduled thing. Sometimes your body or your mind or your soul will tell you, you need to adjust, right? And we're not talking about burnout where you've hit a wall. I'm talking about, it's just a slight little feeling like I'm a little off today, or I know that I'm not exactly myself and where I want to be. And you have that feeling. And the self-care part of it is listening to that and being active in protecting your own well-being, meaning you're not going to wait on it. You're going to do something in the moment to address what it is that you know that you need in that moment. So that's where it gets really, really hard sometimes, because we do have obligations. We do have things that we need to do. We do have deadlines and work obligations and family obligations and responsibilities that we have to attend to. Like, I can't just say I'm soaking in the tub and instead of doing something that I need to do for one of my clients, or deciding to cancel a workshop just so I can take a bath. But at the same time, what I do need to do is say, okay, what can I do in this moment to kind of just settle myself? And when am I going to actually really schedule this soak so that I can make sure that it's done? I'm not going to wait too long to do it. So if I have 5 minutes, what can I do in that 5 minutes? If I have 30 minutes that I can shift things around, then I'm going to take that 30 minutes to do that. And that's where it becomes a practice. Right? It's not necessarily that you get to do the 100% thing that you want to do, but you want to make sure that you do something in that moment for yourself right now. And that's where you're being active. That's the part that a lot of times we miss because we're thinking, I don't have time. I got the pressure. I got all these other things that I need to do. But at the end of the day, you're working against yourself because you will get to burnout, or you will end up like not being at your best if you're not attending it to it right away. So for me, what I'm going to be doing is, even though I'm like, there's so much stuff I needed to do, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to take a soak, a mini soak. This is not going to be a whole long thing, but I am going to take some time to pour some bath bombs in the water, and I am going to soak for 15 minutes so that my body can get something that it needs, right? I'm going to do that for myself. And then maybe there's something else in the middle of the day that I'm going to cut short, or I'm going to move to another day because I'm able to do that. Right? But what if I wasn't? What if I had a lot of appointments? What if I had workshops? I had to meet with a client and I couldn't do that. Well, like I said, I would say to myself, okay, well, I know tonight I'm going to make sure to take a bath before I go to go to bed. And in the meantime, I'm going to, whatever that may be, take a 5-minute break outside and just breathe a lot, because breathing helps your body, right? So I know it's a physical thing for me. Like physically, my body feels very, very drained. And so that breathing will help me just for a few minutes to be able to get that in. If it's something that is a mental health thing, then maybe it's that you watch something really funny for a few minutes, or maybe you pick up the phone and you call a friend to be able to connect with somebody for a few minutes. So it's not necessarily that you have to do something that takes a long period of time, and it's definitely not that you wait until you have the perfect time, because then that's not realistic, right? So you do short, small little things for yourself. And so throughout the rest of July, I'm going to be practicing my self-care, and the videos are going to be more about, how can we do this? What are some ways that we can recognize the self-care for ourselves, particularly as women in STEM. As I've mentioned so many times before, the work that we do is challenging. We are trained to burn the midnight oil. In fact, we're not only trained, we are celebrated for being the last one in the lab, being the first one in, being able to deal with the tough issues and being there and, taking an energy drink, drinking some coffee, more energy drink, coffee, Skittles, whatever it is to stay up, to stay alert in order to be able to get the job done. And this is something that many of us in our careers and in our schooling, we've gotten accolades for being the one that can focus for really long periods of time. And you have to retrain yourself to realizing that even though it works for the project getting done, it doesn't work for you. And so you have to give yourself breaks in between the long hours, in between the getting up early, in between the complex issues that may be getting your brain working overdrive, that somewhere you're hearing that your body or your mind or your soul needs something else, needs a break, needs some laughter, needs wind down, less coffee, those types of things. And you listen to it so that you can last longer, because that's really what we're talking about here, right? The success in STEM is that you're thriving, not that you're just kind of getting through. So, I got to take a note from my own book and I'm going to go and soak in the tub.